A couple of days after a Catholic bishop raised concerns of radicalism in the state of Kerala through love jihad and narcotic jihad, those were the words that he used to describe how radicalization of young minds, especially women of the Christian community, was taking place in Kerala. The Catholic Bishops' Council has backed his concerns, has backed the stand taken by the Pala bishop. And in fact, the Catholic Bishops' Council has also alleged that despite several warnings that were issued by investigative agencies, no probe was carried out to check these terrorist movements, to check this radicalization that was taking place in the state of Kerala. This definitely has led to a massive political face-off, with the left and the Congress now protesting and alleging that the bishop is only an agent of the Hindutva.
പ്രായത്തിൽ തന്നെ പെൺകുട്ടികളെ വശത്താക്കുക എന്ന ലക്ഷ്യത്തോടെ സ്കൂളുകൾ, കോളേജുകൾ, ഹോസ്റ്റലുകൾ, കച്ചവട സ്ഥാപനങ്ങൾ, ട്രെയിനിങ് സെൻ്ററുകൾ എന്നിവേണ്ട ഒരുവിധം ആളുകൾ കൂടുന്നിടത്തെല്ലാം തീവ്രവാദ ചിന്താഗതിക്കാരായ ജിഹാദികൾ വലവിരിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട് എന്ന് നമ്മൾ തിരിച്ചറിയേണ്ട സമയം കടന്നുപോയി എന്ന് ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുകയാണ്. കേരളത്തിൽ ലവ് ജിഹാദ് ഇല്ല എന്ന് സ്ഥാപിച്ചെടുക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുന്നവർ വെറുതെ കണ്ണടച്ച് ഇരുട്ടാക്കുകയാണ്. നാർക്കോട്ടിക് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡ്രഗ് ജിഹാദാണ്. ആ മുസ്ലിങ്ങളായവരെ, പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് യുവജനങ്ങളെ മയക്കുമരുന്നിന് അടിമകളാക്കി അവരുടെ ജീവിതം നശിപ്പിച്ച് കളയുന്ന രീതിയെയാണ് നാർക്കോട്ടിക് അഥവാ ഡ്രഗ് ജിഹാദ് എന്ന് നമ്മൾ സാധാരണ പറയുന്നത്. വർദ്ധിച്ചു വരുന്ന കഞ്ചാവ്, മയക്കുമരുന്ന് കച്ചവടങ്ങൾ ഇതിലേക്ക് വിരൽ ചൂണ്ടുന്നതാണ് എന്നത് വ്യക്തമാണല്ലോ.
We're getting some breaking inputs at this point in time. The Kerala unit of the BJP, in fact, has written a letter to Union Home Minister Amit Shah, urging that the centre should provide protection to Pala Bishop Joseph, who underlined the threat of radicalism. We're playing out visuals of that letter that we've accessed, written by the Kerala unit of the BJP to Home Minister Amit Shah, demanding security to be given to Pala Bishop Joseph.
You're watching the Newshour Special Edition, Debate number 1, on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's open this up and go across to our guests. We're joined by Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. We have with us lawyer Shehzad Poonawala on the broadcast. Political analyst Gokul Chandran joins us. Sunit Chopra, political analyst, is also live with us on the broadcast. And we have Mohammad Asif Sohail, a political analyst and also a social activist. Good evening to all of you. I first want to come to you, Sunit Chopra. Sunit Chopra, just because the Pala bishop has spoken about radicalization, has spoken about love jihad, spoken about conversions and brainwashing of individuals, youth, especially according to him, women in the Christian community in Kerala are being targeted, which is not the first time. Such concerns have been raised in the past as well. He is being tagged as a Hindutva agent for highlighting these concerns.
My feeling is that this love jihad case, there was a special case in Kerala, a long one, and it was tried up to the highest courts and it failed, and that girl eventually went back to her husband, but she was tortured for so long in the name of love jihad. Love jihad has been seen to be a fraud as a concept, so I would not include love jihad on that. As regards the question of what he calls drug jihad, that is very true, because the Haqqani group that is now in power in Afghanistan is very much a drug distribution agency. So my point is, while there is an element of truth in something, you can't take a one-sided view.
Okay, so you're saying not love, but narcotic jihad or drug jihad exists in Kerala, and you are also drawing, and you are also highlighting its link to the Haqqani network. Well then, sir, the second question also goes out to you. If that's your belief, if that's your belief, if that's what you're saying, that there's an element of truth to what the bishop is saying, why is the left targeting him? Why is the left calling him a Hindutva agent instead of looking into the entire case? You yourself said there is a element of truth. You're saying not love, but yes, drug jihad exists.
Let me make it very clear. You see, my point is that it is good at the moment not to take sides on these issues. Personally, I feel that. Because I believe that terrorism is not the private property of any one religion. You have terrorists like Godse who killed Gandhi. They were from the Hindu Mahasabha background.
No, it's not about taking sides. It's not about taking sides. On one hand, you have the Pala bishop who's highlighting the issue of radicalization. On the other hand, are the groups that he's targeting. Mr. Verma, there is no question of taking sides. On one hand, there is this bishop who's saying that there is love jihad and narcotic jihad in Kerala, brainwashing the youth. On the other side is the group that he's targeting. I want to bring in Sanju Verma now. Sanju Verma, the question that is being asked is, why use the word jihad? Why use the word jihad? Because by using this word jihad, you're maligning a community. You're trying to divide the society on communal lines. How do you respond?
First and foremost, it was nobody from the BJP, but much renowned bishop of the Kerala Bishop Council, Catholic Bishop Joseph Kallarangatt, who said that the problem of narcotic jihad or drug jihad, as you will, is becoming very, very sweeping and comprehensive and absolutely difficult to tackle in Kerala. And many youngsters are being drawn into it. And let me tell you one thing, Swati, that this is not the first time that narcotic jihad has found a mention within the context of what is happening in Kerala. Last year, the excise commissioner, a gentleman called Raja Rishi Singh, he said that daily there are 15 to 20 cases of drug abuse being reported. And after Punjab, if there is one state where the narcotic menace has really grown disproportionately, it is Kerala. He says that right from dentists to doctors to parlors to disco thieves to private schools to even professionals like lawyers, peddling of drugs has become so rampant that it is difficult for the police constabulary and the law and order machinery to keep pace with the growing havoc of drugs, especially in places like Perumbavoor in Ernakulam, in Mattancherry in Kochi, in Thiruvananthapuram. In fact, it says Thiruvananthapuram is the hub of the drug menace in Kerala and is also one of the big suppliers to border areas like Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Tamil Nadu. So if the CPM panelist is willing to be an ostrich, put his head under the sand and not look at facts in the eye and simply come and blabber about BJP and Hindutva and Modi, my sympathies with him, sir. But the fact is you cannot get away from the fact that more than 3,500 cases of narcotic jihad and drug abuse are reported every single year from Kerala. Stop being the clueless ostrich. Stop suffering from the ostrich.
Okay, I will bring Mr. Chandran as well. Mr. Chandran, Mr. Gokul Chandran, why is the Congress party so outraged? Why is the Congress party so outraged? Because in the past, the Congress party itself has highlighted this issue. Why is the Congress party protesting against this? Because your own Congress Kerala chief, Mr. Mani, has said some cases of love jihad have come up and that we must definitely address these issues.
Yeah, really sorry. The fact is that I'm not denying there is no drug menace in Kerala. The drug cartels are there.
And there is a worrying factor. No doubt about that. But not as Sanju pointed out that Chhattisgarh is the neighboring state of Kerala. No, nothing like that. So, but the drug cases are there. But you cannot pinpoint a particular religion for that. Take all the cases where these guys are get caught. There are Christians, Muslims, Hindus who peddle drugs and who are get caught in drug sales. So here what has happened is Bishop has particularly pointed out one religion for this menace. You take out the case history, you take out the FIRs and you see how many Muslims are involved in any drug trafficking or drug case? You will find very
I want to
less.
come in there.
No, wait. You can come in, you can wait.
One second, let him finish.
The bishop, what he has done is already from 2014 onwards, there is a enmity growing up between Muslims and Christians in Kerala. Earlier it was not that. They were living like true brothers and good friends. After 2014, BJP and Sangh Parivar has infiltrated the Christian community and they have fed them the Muslim thought, anti-Muslim thoughts. They have taken Europe, they have taken the examples of US and they have tried to divide the society.
Gokul Chandran, the Pala Bishop has spoken about a specific issue. The Pala Bishop is talking about a very specific issue and he does not belong to the BJP and he does not belong to the RSS as well. Okay, one second. I want to bring in Shehzad Poonawala as well. Shehzad Poonawala, is Gokul Chandran trying to generalize the entire issue by saying that there is drug menace in Kerala and he is generalizing it by saying there are drug peddlers who are involved in the business when the Pala Bishop is talking about an intent? According to him, narcotics is being used to lure young minds, especially women from the Christian community who then are trapped and then are converted to Islam and used for purpose of terrorism. That's what he said.
Swati, first of all, it's undeniable that narcotics is being used to target the youth of Kerala. As Sanju has rightly pointed out, it's not just the Excise Commissioner Rishiraj Singh, but in fact even the Kerala High Court, which said that the use of narcotics was unexceptionally high in the state of Kerala as recently as February 2021. But can I ask my good friend Sunit Chopra one question? He said very interestingly that we should not link. Sir, my question is to you, please listen. You said let's not link anything to one religion. I agree with you. So are you saying that you condemn the term Hindu terror and lynching is done by Hindutva elements? Mr. Sunit Chopra, can you have the same principle for Hindu terror, the terminology that was popularized by you and your ilk and by the Congress party?
Hindutva
No, your point is what? Your point is that if somebody has an opinion about narcotics jihad, you will say let's not target a religion. But when somebody goes around saying that Hindu terror or Hindu lynchers, you are very comfortable with it. Why is the double standard? Where is the atheist in you? Where is the Marx-loving atheist in you?
Any religion that uses
Let me complete my point. Mr. Chopra, it wasn't for you to start on a diatribe. It was just a one-word answer. Anyways, now, Swati, let me just complete it 20 seconds because Mr. Chopra is not interested in answering that question, which busts his hypocrisy. My larger point, Swati, is that there is a double standard and there is a culture of appeasement that is going on in Kerala. Sir, I can make this point in 20 seconds. Please hear me out. Sir, Mr. Chopra, please hear me out, then you can speak. There is a culture of appeasement that has taken over the Kerala Communist Party. Once upon a time, they called out the PFI as the avatar of Simi. They rightly did that. But today, they give relaxations for Eid, because of which there is a COVID spike. They are unable to see the truth because they are in competition with the UDF for the coveted Muslim vote. Therefore, even on subjects like Kerala, youngsters going and joining ISIS, they have their head in the ground. And therefore, I ask Mr. Chopra, will you call it Hindu terror or will you have the same exception?
Mohammad Asif Sohail, the Bishops' Council also claims that there were 4,000 cases of forced conversions not to Islam but terrorism. They've also come out and said they're not targeting a particular community or talking against a particular community. They're talking about these elements who force people to convert to Islam and then they are used for terror-related activities. Is this an attempt to divide the society on the basis of communal lines, or is this a genuine attempt by the Pala Bishop to highlight the issue of radicalization? Mohammad Asif Sohail, that question is for you.
Swati, can you just stop my learned friends and I'll give my statement on this. First of all, I want to clear the meaning of jihad. Jihad is a struggle of peace and education, and it's a protection of all faiths and no faiths. See what if you want to know about the jihad, read Quran, Hadith, and life of the Prophet, not the propaganda made by the gangs of Nagpur. They are making a false propaganda. In Islam, there is no place for forcible conversion. Let me finish it off. There is no place of forceful conversion in Islam. You know, those who are doing the conversion, they are not part of the Islam.
You have some sense
There's no point of you have not interrupted. Why are you have to accept the truth. You have to accept the
No, let him finish, please. Let's be fair. But Mr. Sohail, you're saying people who indulge in forced conversions or forcibly convert people are not Muslims. That's what you're saying. But if this is being practiced, if there are complaints coming in, if the investigative agencies are warning against it, shouldn't one look into the matter instead of jumping into the entire thing and saying that this is being done on the behalf of the Hindutva agents, this is being done because the BJP and RSS wants it to be done in a certain way?
See, Swati, this all propaganda is from the gangs of Nagpur. They are making a fake bishops, they are making a fake mullahs and making all these things. Even I have been tagged as a food jihadi and oxygen jihadi. As
you're saying the bishop is only fake?
From past 10 years, and we have given thousands of oxygens. Yeah, that's what I see. Even they have tagged, they have
Mohammed Sohail is the bishop,
also,
is the bishop fake? Is the bishop also part of the what did you say, gangs of Nagpur?
See.
Then what do you have to say about people joining the ISIS? What do you have to say about people joining the ISIS, fighting for the ISIS? Some of them are in Afghanistan at this point in time. Their families are requesting the government of India to bring them back. What is that link?
They will finish off the Islam and Christianity from India. Have you forgot that?
Now
Sanju Verma.
Their interest is. See, their interest is to divide the minorities now. Their interest is to divide the minorities now.
I think you've given him enough time. Let me come in, please.
Okay.
Divisive politics is bad.
Go ahead, please. If you can hear me, Sanju Verma, please go ahead. I've been asking you to respond.
Yeah,
no, Sanju Verma, please, if you can hear me, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you. Swati, I just want to say, tell Mr. Asif, if he's saying that jihad is all about peace, then Mr. Asif, thank God next time you would claim that you're Robert Downey Jr. or you would say that, Mullah Baradar of the Taliban is reincarnate of Mother Teresa. I am appalled, flummoxed, and I find it hilarious. The more important point is what you mentioned.
We don't follow Mullah Omar or anything.
Yeah.
We follow Quran and Hadith. We follow Constitution
now you have your say. Swati, I don't think this is fair.
Compare.
You did not allow me to intervene.
No, let Sanju Verma finish her point. Let Sanju Verma give you a counter, sir. You've made your point. Take a counter as well. I have to wrap up the debate. Let her give you a counter, please. Nobody is comparing. Let her finish her point.
First and foremost, I repeat, whether Mr. Asif likes to hear this or not, you can close your ears. But global jihad, I repeat, global jihad is at the epicenter of terrorism. And if you don't believe me, read the latest report of the United Nations, which says that 9 out of the top 10 terror outfits globally have a radicalized Islamist DNA and have a Muslim DNA. So if you're coming here and not willing to look at truth in the face, then there's something wrong with you. And point number 2, as Swati mentioned, the Catholic bishop who spoke about narcotic jihad, Mr. Joseph, he's not from the RSS or from the BJP. Now you will start blaming the Kerala Catholic Bishop Council. The excise commissioner, Rishi Raj Singh, is not a member of the BJP. Now you will start maligning the excise commissioner. Don't forget that every year, more than 3,000 drug abuse cases come from Kerala alone. Second only to Punjab.
Mr. Mohammad Asif Sohail, the point is that if there is one second, Mr. Sohail, if there is radicalization in the state of Kerala, at least you can ask the government to look into it. Instead of outrightly rejecting it, you need to ask the government and the investigative agencies, the police in Kerala, to look into such cases instead of calling the bishop fake or people who are raising these concerns as Hindutva agents. Thank you very much, Mohammad Asif, for joining us on the broadcast. All our other guests are going to continue with us for debate number 2. Thank you very much to Mr. Verma as well.